they can do it, 'cause the hero never says no. The unbeatable, wonderful, 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 fame and fortune to claim, fighting for the status quo. Don that mask and take us to task, hurry now, it's time to go. They can do it, they can do it, 'cause the Silver Sisters and Rose, the unstoppable, wonderful, wonderful,
What's going on, guys? This is John Zakari, and today I'm coming at you with my review for the Wonderful 101, exclusively on Wii U. The game follows a group of superheroes known as the Wonderful 100 as they serve as Earth's last line of defense against an invading alien army known as the Geth Jerk, or Jerk for short. The group is led by 7 veterans who I can't help but describe as a dysfunctional version of my childhood heroes, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Each of the main characters is referred to by the color of their outfit, so there's Wonder Red, Blue, Green, Pink, Yellow, White, and Black. And just like in the original Power Rangers, Wonder Black is also black in skin tone, and of course, he can dance. Once you get a good look at the game's art style and see the way the characters interact with each other, you'll quickly realize that the Wonderful 101 doesn't take itself too seriously. From cheap one-liners to slapstick physical comedy, the Wonderful 101 delivers all the cheese you'd expect from your favorite Saturday morning cartoons. And if you've played games by Platinum before, you probably already know that they love to show off their women, and even though this is a more cartoony game, it's no exception.
So, you're the big man in charge then?
Whoa.
Precious. Think you can take charge of the zone?
While the game's art style and story set up a light and fun atmosphere, the actual gameplay mechanics are not messing around. Now, let me start off by saying the Wonderful 101 is unlike any game I've ever played before. If I had to compare it to something, I'd say it's kind of a cross between Pikmin and Bayonetta, as it has fast-paced action elements that often require amazing timing, but it also forces you to manage a large group of followers at the same time. Each of the game's main characters uses a different weapon, and in combat situations, the player must use an ability called Unite Morph to bring the Wonderful 100 together to form one of these weapons. This is done by drawing the shape of the weapon you want either on the gamepad screen or by using the right joystick. Making the drawing larger will actually bring more of the heroes together to form a bigger, more powerful version of that weapon. This is why the game's learning curve is so steep, as the player must figure out which weapons are best in different situations, and how to judge the spacing and timing when deciding how big of a weapon to use. And you have to do this all while keeping the group together, because anyone who is hit will be knocked out and unable to participate in any Unite Morph until they're revived. The game breaks up the combat by way of innovative puzzles, shooting sequences, and even some Punch-Out style boss fights, most of which have their own control schemes. So yeah, the game has a lot to take in and requires a great deal of time to get acquainted with the various gameplay elements, but once you do, you'll be hard-pressed to find anything more rewarding than owning your foes with a series of well-timed Unite Morphs. With all that said, let's get into the score breakdown for this game. The gameplay in the Wonderful 101, while complex, is extremely fun and rewarding. Most notably, it's just unique. Platinum could have easily rested on their laurels and made something similar to Bayonetta or Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, but instead they've created a brand new style of game. The Unite Morph ability is a little touchy at times, since some of the weapon drawings are very similar, such as the Whip and Claw, which are a zigzag and Z shape respectively. The campaign is fairly long, clocking in around 15 to 18 hours, and it's divided into nice 20 to 30 minute digestible missions, making it easy for players to replay missions for a higher ranking. I, for one, get goosebumps whenever I see that pure platinum medal, because it makes me just feel like a badass. The game has multiplayer, but it's a little chaotic for my tastes. And luckily, multiplayer missions can be played solo if you don't want to deal with all that craziness. With this style of gameplay though, multiplayer really couldn't have been handled much better. Gameplay gets a 9 out of 10. For the most part, the Wonderful 101 story will make the kid in you chuckle, as all the characters have little quirks that make them so memorable. But towards the end of the campaign, the game starts to take a more serious tone. I thought this detracted from what made the story entertaining, and things started to get really convoluted. In my view, the game would have benefited from keeping things on the lighter side throughout. Story receives a 7 out of 10. The game's cartoony art style gives it a vibe I haven't felt in an action game since Beautiful Joe. Most games in this genre are going for a darker look nowadays, so it's nice to see someone trying to brighten things up. You'll also explore a variety of environments throughout the adventure, but the industrial locations are certainly a bit overused. And since the game's combat is so chaotic, the camera can sometimes work against you, especially in tighter spaces. Visuals get an 8 out of 10. All of the sounds in this game go right along with its kid's superhero cartoon vibe. A fast-paced soundtrack with ridiculous lyrics, over-the-top voice acting, and futuristic weapon sound effects. Some of the dialogue sequences are a bit lengthy, but I wouldn't trade Wonder Red's long-windedness for anything. Really, how does he memorize all that stuff?
If it isn't the heir to the throne of the roaming Rulo, leader of the space pirate band known across the universe as the Geizak, Prince Vorkin's first mate, Chugi, and company.
Audio receives an 8 out of 10.
But there was this party, and then the after party, and then the after party.
The Wonderful 101 uses the Wii U Gamepad in a lot of cool ways. Obviously you can use it for off-TV play and to draw the different Unite morphs, but it also plays a pivotal role in solving some of the game's puzzles. For instance, there was this one puzzle in which my TV displayed a flashing light that was rotating around a ring of squares outside this building I was in, while my group inside the building was displayed on my gamepad, and I had to shoot this target in the building at the same time the light stopped on the specific squares outside. Puzzles like these are really taking advantage of the Wii U's gamepad because the player must divide their attention between the two screens in order to solve them. The only problem, as I mentioned previously, is the small spaces these puzzles put you in can force the camera into some awkward spots. Gamepad implementation earns an 8 out of 10. So, in the end, the Wonderful 101 Unite morphs its way to a solid 8 out of 10. Well, that just about wraps it up for this video. If you're an action game fan, or someone just looking for something a little different, I highly recommend you check out the Wonderful 101. Remember, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, and as always, I'm John Zakari, and thanks for watching.